Just let me know if you ever find yourself in a pinch. I can help you out.
Alright, so not gonna be very long, but I figured we'll just break down how exactly to approach floor 12. Because I understand like most people probably have trouble with this second half. Mostly because of the Emirate soldiers. And then the Magukenki, pretty self-explanatory, is like a DPS check. But these the ruin machines are pretty tough as well. And then the Vishaps are not really that hard. Like they're just there to just like be beat basically. They have a lot of HP, but if you have enough reactions, they're not really a problem. So like it's really good to have Swirl in the first team. Like there's just so many mobs. There's so many enemies. Like they're kind of just mobs. You break them down, and then on your second half is where you're like big time DPSer should be. Because this algorithm of semi-intransient matrix of overseer network, or ASIMON. You just call it Simon. Let's just call it Simon. But yeah. So that one has like a particular mechanic about it that's like really odd. Like it has like heightened resistances against like the first element that the element that's doing the most damage to it. But once it breaks down, it loses all of that, and then you get to do like big damage. But you kind of need to have an electro character in your team so that you can break it down. So yeah, so on this first half, we're just gonna make a really nice swirl team here. Like I have Kazuha, Venti, Jean, but you could use Heizo, Sucrose as well, right? So what I'm just gonna go for is an overvate comp, where I don't actually use Zhangling. Instead, I just try to swirl Bennett, and then put Kuki as my Electro, because my Kuki's built to scale off of EM. And then in the second half, I'm actually going to use Zhongli, Raiden, Kali, and Xingqiu. And the main reason why is because I'm actually going to try to use Zhongli as my main DPS for most of the time. Just because of the blessing this time around is actually pretty good for shredding resistances. So this team, including physical resistance, and I kind of have a Zhongli that does pretty good physical damage, and this team will let me passively apply hyper bloom reactions. So just gonna try it out. Okay, so this one's the one with the Emirites and the Magukenki, or not the Magukenki, the samurai guys. So we're actually not gonna do anything. We're not gonna like approach them. We're just gonna
Everybody stand back!
Into the wind! Fallen leaves, adorn my night!
Lightning!
Mind the deluge.
Like that.
Welcome.
One with nature.
So let's light it up! I'm going in!
As one with wind and cloud. The wind knows me.
Dissipate!
Be still.
So because because of Kazuma and Bennett, Kazuma usually going
Into the wind.
prioritize
Kamisato arc.
higher
Suiyu.
scrolls with Bennett when Bennett's ult's on the field. So even though Bennett's not really
Teamwork
applying
is dreamwork.
consistent fire damage,
Clouds high.
Kazuma's still gonna
The birds
see, like,
call.
Our bond is strong.
and that's the other reactions can
The wind knows me.
You win this battle.
So here, I'm just gonna demonstrate, like show off the passive hyper bloom.
Stabilize.
Use that. Of course.
Fight this on your side. Go! Rain cutter. Huh? Hup. Rain outlines your fit.
I will have order.
Just to CC these guys.
Rise. Solidify.
Shine down.
Like that. Breaks down like this.
Huh? Hup. Yeah, no, my sword.
Finally.
Let me leave you.
Help! Illusion shattered.
Order guide you. Gather.
Don't actually use right on it would speed this one up. You don't actually have to use
Solidify.
Shine down.
the passive.
Rain outlines your.
Sacrifice is ready.
This is order. Stabilize.
No, my sword. Witness the power of.
Pound it to the ground.
Okay. Okay, so this one is the Ruin Guard, so we're just gonna swirl them. That way we can do consistent damage to everybody at the same time.
Adventure time.
Again, we don't have to really move that much. We're just gonna stand here in the middle.
Dissipate.
Cascade.
Get first up.
Huh? Hup.
Wind Strider.
Let's light it up. Our bond is strong. Huh? Tuh. Everybody stand back.
Fallen leaves. Adorn my. Mind the deluge.
I'll settle this. Huh? I'm going in.
As one with wind and cloud.
Stand with me.
The depths beckon.
Alright, this one is the Magi Kenki. I will use Raiden as ult on this one just to speed it up. But just to show you, just gonna use this. Set it up.
Illusion shattered.
Just like we rehearsed.
Torn to oblivion. There is no escape.
And then he's gonna lose. Yeah, so when Magi
Let me
Kenki,
weave you a
like,
verse.
after he reaches like that 30% HP loss, he's gonna
No, my
do his
soul.
ult, and then after that, he's gonna just back down. Like, he just moves away from him.
Illusion shattered. Inazuma shines eternal.
So you always kind of want to stay in front of him, so that way he backs into the wall, and then after that he won't be able to go anywhere, even if he does decide to dodge again.
Order guide you. Gather.
Okay. So like the welcome blessing for this this abyss rotation is really specific. Like it's good for everybody, but like it's mainly to do work against Simon.
Let's light it up!
Like, it's one of the better weapons we've had in a little while.
Into the wind.
Huh? Everybody stand!
Fallen leaves. Adorn my night. One with nature.
Our bond is strong! Out of my way!
Mind the daily bit. Be still.
The wind knows me.
Ha! Yeah! Ha.
As one with wind and cloud. Wind strider.
Okay, so this is I just call him Simon because he's like a really long name, but that's the abbreviation basically, or A Simon. But so what we're gonna do is we're just gonna stand in front of him, and we're just gonna burst him down. When he goes into that invisible clone mode, you have to hit the apparatuses instead. And Shincho's really good for that, and so is Holly, because they're doing sub DPS on top, so they'll be able to pull him out of that recovery mode. And then when he does go into recovery mode, we're going to use Raiden's Electro to short him out, and then all of his resistances will drop, and then we're just going to DPS him.
Solidify!
Witness the power of Gugwa! Just like we rehearsed!
Torn to oblivion! Ha!
Do that.
There is no it.
Let me weave you a verse. Rain outlines your fate. Huh? Write this on for some!
Shine down. Inazuma shines eternal. Illusion shattered.
Stabilize! This is order!
Witness the power.
Ha! Torn to oblivion. There is no escape.
Fallen Emma, help! Yeah. Rain outlines your fate. Rain cutter. Yeah. Hi!
Illusion shattered.
Quake!
Alright. So pretty much that's how it works. Like, yeah, my writing's like really strong because I have like cons, but the same thing would work if you had like Kuki instead. Like, if you've seen any of the videos on my YouTube, I also did it with Hyper Bloom Comp with Yelan.
Boats are made for transferring commodities back and forth. And those that come across Liu tend to stay a while.
So, like, if you're on the first floor, the best thing you can do is to like stack your Animo character with EM. Like, Simon Kaza has like a lot of EM. Like, his crit rate and crit damage aren't so much, but his EM is good. You know, because we have to keep our swirl up. And Kazuha's additional bonuses provides bonus elemental damage for, you know, whatever element he swirls, and he can swirl up to 2 elements, so that's pretty good for us. That, along with the Verdescent Veneer set, is boosting damage as well. And the shred is 40%, so that's kind of massive. So between that and the buff we get from having 971 EM and this passive here, Kazuha's basically enables double damage from elemental attacks that are swirled. So, like, he's a pretty big deal when it comes to dealing with mobs in the Abyss. He makes it really easy. Like, I've tried it a few times. Like, the most recent video on my YouTube, I put Candace, even though she's not maxed out. Like, she's level 40, but the fact that she, like, enables Hydro Infusion is, like, huge, especially for Kazuha, whose skills with EM. And if I swirl the Hydro, then, like, Kazuha's autos are actually pretty strong. So, yeah. You can also like do the first floor with like an Animo Supremacy team. Like I had one of those before. In fact, I'm just gonna do that run now. Switch this to an Animo. Put that. That. And put this. And we're gonna put this crit rate. Do I really want to put crit rate? I guess I don't have to be on set with this piece. So we'll put something else. I need crit rate. I'll just put this. This is a pretty good hat. And then for this, you could run Moon Splitter. That's pretty good. You could run Jade Cutter as well, but just to keep burst up, I like to run this sword from Inazuma. This is the best, probably the best 4-star forgeable weapon. It's just good. Like it's just good. Keeps your burst up. Provides an attack buff. It's nice. Put this. I could also use this one. This is Kazuha's 4-star weapon. It's really nice, cool looking. Gives similar attack percent buffs. It gives a little bit more attack percent, but it doesn't provide the energy recharge utility that this 4-star does. So we're just gonna use this instead for the sake of keeping our burst up. This one also works as well if you have Festering Desire. So we're just gonna run this one again, but this time it's gonna be Animo Supremacy on the first floor, and then a normal or my other Hyper Bloom comp on the second floor. So for this comp, I run Venti, Jean, Kazuha, and Zhongli here. Then on the second team, I run Yelan, Shincho, Kali, and Kuki. And they're all 5 stars, so it's kind of OP. But the main reason why is because the game keeps giving me gene constellations. So I got C4 genes, so I have a really good Animo Shred, 40% from her, and then 20% from Zhongli's shield. So I'm just gonna show it how it works.
Time for takeoff.
Yeah,
Yahoo!
Wind, hear me.
stand right
I
here.
will have order. Crumble.
Fallen leaves, adorn my night, Wind Strider.
Brace yourselves.
Venti's ult
Think you can get away?
Go as one! Barbados, guide us.
Now you only get
Into the
40%
wind.
Animo resistance
As one with wind and cloud,
so you can just
the wind knows
CC
me.
your Venti.
Order guide you. Rise.
Let's play. Time for takeoff.
Solidify.
Wind Strider, Clouds high. The birds call.
Yeah, so that's pretty much what's going to happen on pretty much every floor. Like, these people are not going to be able to move at all. Now, I don't have any CC here, but if you did run like Animal or CC on this floor, then you could actually move the machines together and then do cluster damage to them.
Let me weave you a bird.
Try this on for some. Stand with me. I'll settle this.
Game's up. Fun's over.
Yeah. Fly.
Busted.
Yeah, so this one obviously takes more time than Raiden, but it's still worth.
Gotcha.
Go. Dissipate.
No, my sword.
So I'm
Our bond is strong.
Here, instead of just gonna passively apply Hyper Beam. Alright. Now we're just gonna stick on the bow.
Out of my way.
Just
like we rehearsed. Fly.
Rain cutter.
The other guy's just gonna come.
Things are about to get dicey.
Where do you think you're going? Stand with me.
Goodbye.
Looking for a fight?
If you do destroy his summon alligator or the summons, they will enter like an exhausted state and take way more damage. But if you're fast enough, you won't have to deal with them, or you can group them and then deal with them both at the same time. Alright, so this floor is going to take a little bit longer just because they have a lot more HP than the first floor.
Think you can get away?
I swear by my sword.
But it should still be fine.
Stabilize.
As one with wind and cloud.
This is order.
Just make
Quake!
Sure everyone's
Who
taking
is
the
what?
damage.
Yahoo! Time for takeoff.
Wind strider.
Now, the thing about Venti
Gather.
is that you can't exactly
Wind,
place
hear
yourself,
me.
like, specifically.
Clouds high.
when it comes to
The birds call.
Order guide you.
Think you
But
can get away?
Usually,
Brace yourselves.
he puts it.
Solidify.
Fallen leaves. Adorn my night.
So you can
One
use
with
it to
nature.
stick around.
Barbados, guide us.
That should be enough.
Time for takeoff. Let's play.
I will have order. Stabilize.
Wind strider. As one with wind and cloud.
Wind, hear me.
That was good. Alright. So here is the Magenki. This is going to be an easy DPS for us because passive Hyper Boom is just OP. Like, you can't really stop the damage. So he's going to hit his 30% HP threshold pretty quickly. So if we can get our burst back before that, that'd be the best thing for us.
Fly. Dissipate.
But it's going to happen so fast. I really don't think we can
Try
do it.
this on for some.
Witness the power of Gugwa. Know my sword. Here comes the catch.
Lightning, purify. Our bond is strong. Go. Yeah.
Yeah. So, if you can dodge the,
Quietly now.
You can dodge it with iframes like if you dash, but if you can't, just switch to your highest HP character, which for me would be Daemon.
Dissipate.
They can take damage, especially
Oh,
if
Emma,
they
help.
Rain cutter. Body enough. Know my sword. Game's up. Fun's over. Gotcha.
See there,
Our bond is strong.
Witness the power of Gugwa.
Kind of have to get it
Quietly
right.
now. Here comes the catch.
It's not, I'm not gonna say it's frame perfect, but it's kind of close. But if you try, you should get it. So this one's gonna be really easy again because ammo CC.
Think you can get away?
This,
Brace yourselves.
that.
Into the wind. Clouds high. The birds call. One with nature.
Gather! Order guide you.
Time for takeoff.
Barbados, guide us.
Sha! As one with wind and cloud. The wind knows me.
Solidify!
Tip.
Yahoo!
Into the wind.
Here we go.
That's it for them.
Take it easy.
Stand with me.
Rain outlines your fate. Know my sword.
I'll settle this. Just like we rehearsed.
Rain cutter. Things are about to get dicey.
Just to get out of this phase. Don't want to be stuck in that phase.
Busted.
Make sure Dendro is in the cloud.
Know my sword. Witness the power of Goop. Game's up. Fun's over.
Try this on for some. Our bond is strong.
Quietly now.
Stand with me.
Rain outlines your fate.
Short that
Lightning, sure.
Let me weave you a verse. Busted. Here comes the catch.
out. Dendro. And this thing's probably going to be done real soon.
Quietly now.
That's it. Okay. So, when it comes to Venti, I'm still working on him. Like, he's strong, but he's not like maxed out like yet. Like, I've got him 789. That's pretty decent. You know, she's strong, but I'm broke. You know, I'm broke. You know. So, like, the damage over time on his ult is really not that high. It's like 63%, 63.9, 64% area. So, it kind of does need you to swirl, so you get an extra 32%. You know? But I don't have that. And the artifacts on Venti are okay. Like, they're not, you know, he's gonna crit often enough, right? But his crit damage is not too high, but his ER is nutty. So we're gonna be able to spam ult in this current build. Right, ER's here as well. You see, I have ER on everything except for the circlet, but I could run this and get it, but then I won't have enough crit rate. So that's a trade-off. And because Venti doesn't particularly, my Venti doesn't particularly do that much damage on its own right now, I run this bow here. Moan's Moon, whatever it's called. But because of his passive, like, I can get up to an 80% increased elemental burst damage through this weapon if the scaling is high enough. So the scaling is based off of maximum energy recharge required by your team to burst. I don't know if it includes the character holding it though, but it says the team, so I'm gonna say yes. So Venti's energy cost is 60. That's a little bit on the higher side. It's not the highest. Like some people have 80, like, or 70 and stuff like that. But it does definitely give him a crazy big damage boost, especially in that animal comp where Jean is shredding. But her burst cost is 80. Zhongli's burst cost is 40. That's not so bad. That's actually really low. Actually, it's a free ult, so he doesn't need that much energy recharge. And Kazuha, I think, is a 60. Yeah, it's 60. So Venti probably is getting as much as he can get from that weapon. Much damage as he can get, and skills and attack percent. It's not that much attack percent because of its passive, but it's still a very good bow. Like, I would recommend, like, if you see this on the 4-star banner, I would say try for this, because at R5 it's kind of ridiculous. It's not kind of, it's pretty ridiculous. I don't have too many good bows to choose from. Like, I have these, like, these are the best bows, but stringless is like on my colleague. Actually, let me talk about colleague for a second. So my colleague is max level, and I got her talents pretty high. Like, I didn't do this auto because, you know, no one's autoing with it. But stringless is probably one of the best weapons for her, just because it gives her a little EM and it increases her skill and burst damage by nearly 50%. It's kind of huge, especially because of the way Kali is set up. Like with this and her C2, it gives a lot of damage here, and so does her C6. But when you throw it, her skill, it comes back and puts a little dendro ring around you that does damage, a little bit like Cookie's. But between her boomerang and the passive that comes on afterwards, like this one and the C2, and then her ult, she pretty much is always doing dendro damage, like, all the time. So reactions are a little bit less likely. So scaling her in EM is not really like the best thing, but like to have a little on her, like some on her, is good. Like, I might actually have a little bit too much, but it's okay. It's okay. So you really want attack percent, crit damage, crit rate, ER, you know. But she has a lot of multi hits, so high crit rate is good. sorry about that. So these constellations are actually pretty nice on Kali. Like this first one, her energy recharge is increased by 20% when she's not on the field. Like that's kind of useful. Not kind of, it's a lot of useful. Because any weapons that her energy that she gets is absolutely necessary to keep her burst up. So I'm really happy that this is a C1, but this C2 is actually probably her best constellation between this and C6. So the sprout effect is basically the little ring that comes back to you, and if you proc a reaction on it, then this little ring is actually extended by 3 seconds, so it stays on for a very long time. Now, if you proc it again, then it'll just reset the timer. So that's cool. It'll just reset the timer on the 3 seconds. Then this one's a burst. I mean, yeah. And this one's pretty cool too. Boost EM for everyone except Kali. It's decent. It's not like game breaking or anything like that. It's just cool. Yeah, so this is the burst. This one's the skill. Burst is up by 3 levels. Like these constellations that boost levels are actually really underrated, but they're like massively powerful, especially if you're already high. So if you're like 11 or 12 on their skill, it's actually a big deal. Like, they do a lot. It's 3 levels is a lot. And then the C6 throws a little mini burst down on the field. So once I get to C6, like Kali's damage is gonna be pretty nuts. But yeah, so I don't have like any good pieces from the Dendro set, so I just run the 2-piece Gladiator, 2-piece Shimenawa. It's okay. That's okay though. Like I do have a Dendro goblet. It's okay. I run it on Tainari, but my Tainari is not built, so it doesn't really matter. I'd rather give her an attack percent goblet. That's reasonable, you know. And this is just for her crit rate. Like all the substats on it are great and all, but like it's mainly for her crit rate. Like this is another good one, but I needed her crit rate to be up because she's hitting a lot. But yeah, this bow is probably one of the better 4 stars you can get. Like this one, Moon's Moon, is also really powerful. I recommend getting these 2 weapons. Sack bow as well, Favonius bow. Those are really good. These are really good. But like as far as Kali goes, this is probably her best. I would say this is one of her best in slots. If it's not this Moon's Moon, then it's just stringless. It just does way too much for her. She just benefits way too much from this with this weapon. But yeah, so this is like only has 2 hits on it, so it's a scale hard. Like it makes sense. Like 300% front and back. When you throw it and it comes back, that's what it is. And then this one also has like really high scaling, but that's because I'm at like level 9. But that's yeah. So between these 2 skills and the passive, like she's just constantly pumping out Dendro damage. So I would recommend Kali in like pretty much any Hyper Bloom team. As long as your main DPS isn't Dendro like Tainari, then yeah, you should put Kali instead. She's just, I know people like look down on her and stuff, but she's powerful. She's great. That's the only reason. Like I took her to 90 because she's that good. And she scales off of like attack percent with her levels, so she's not really like underwhelming in any way. Like she's really nice for what she does. And so when it comes to Xingqiu in that team comp, because of his skill makes like the little rain swords around him, it can apply hydro damage to enemies. He also applies hydro to himself. But since you apply hydro to the enemies, you can always proc a bloom if this is like in contact with Kali, right? So if you have like a melee main DPS, you can always proc bloom with this in Kali. Now, if you add Kuki Shinobu as well, where is she? If you add Shinobu, her circle also will provide Hyper Bloom to the comp. So you can actually get a pretty decent 4-star team comp going on around Kuki, Kali, and Shincho. Now, whoever your main DPS is, it's completely up to you. You can have a Pyro DPS just so you can have Burgeon as well. But I would personally just put physical damage. Like, my official is a physical damage official. I would just run her in most of these situations. But she's ranged, so she wouldn't get the Hyper Bloom off very well. You can run Yelan because she does like she's close combat even though she runs a bow. You can also run Child for more hydro damage, and the elemental resonance boost. That's also good. But yeah, like if you wanted a main DPS, you could run Eula. She's a good pick there. Kazuha's good just to CC people. Zhongli's good for, well, shields and damage and everything. So, yeah, try to find your own teams, like based on what characters you already have and you know what you need each character to actually excel or perform at. The guides, like I make guides, but the guides I make are really for like late game players. Like you can min max the way you want to. That way your character can do everything. Like, you know, just because like Kuki is a healer, strong. It doesn't mean that she can't do like good damage alone, you know. So there are builds out there that let you take advantage of all the skills and traits and benefits that the character has to offer. So it's not like, oh, Bennett's just my healer. Like, no, Bennett could probably, you know, take care of a mob or something by himself. He's fine. You know, Kazuha, same thing. So when my Kens gets built, it'll probably be the same thing too.
Pin them down!
But that's just the way it works. Like Genshin, there's not really a meta in this game at all. You can kind of just do whatever you want. But if you want to play with metas and stuff like that, that's totally up to you. Like there's no shame in it or anything. Like don't let people like make you feel bad because your team's not meta or anything like that. Because you can make any comp you want and it can still be viable in almost any scenario. Like the Abyss is usually not really like restrictive on what comps you build on, but like that last four Simon, like you kind of have to have an Electro character in order to break down break down Simon. But other than that, like the rest of the team is totally like your choosing. So yeah, you might run into situations like that, but it's okay. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later.